Namaste. The divine in me honors the divine in you. Welcome to Cafe Stimulate. Thanks for stopping by and having coffee with me today. I have my coffee. It doesn't seem like a lot because I already started in my coffee. I'm going to need this because I'm going to try some different things to make myself feel more, comfortable in front of the camera. And so I was like, let me go ahead and take my couple of jabs and sips so I can get ready to dig in. But I do have a message today. And as we come into the new year, I was reminded by a little birdie, and she's so sweet. I was watching her podcast, and it was called Hilarious. It's called Heal, like heal. It starts with heal. You know how you say the word hilarious, and it's Hilarious podcast. And so she was just making a reminder that the new year begins actually in March, which I used to, do the Hebrew Israelite thing. So that I already knew that the new year started in March, and it's actually like the first day of spring. Okay. And some people may be like, well, who cares, or why does all of that matter? You, spiritual being, we have a connection with the earth. And so this isn't to tell people what to do or how to do it or where they go. This is about planting the seed of, just information, just so that you would know. Okay. Well, the December, if you actually go look up the word December and where it derived, it means 10. So actually, December used to be the 10th month, but because of the Gregorian calendar, they made it the 12th month. And actually, in historical times, there used to be a 13th month, as they were going through, during the times and the seasons and things like that. But now we stop at 12, and they do something called like a leap year or something like that, people are making their New Year's resolutions. They're making their, the things that they want to change within themselves into this new year. And the only reason why I brought, this up is because you want to be in alignment with nature. And so when you're in alignment with her, then she also helps things to flow. And you have to think, do we really plant seeds, our, aspirations and things that we want to do in the dead of winter? You have to understand the time where, it's actually about planting your seed in good soil. And that can mean a couple of good things when it talks about planting your seed into good soil. And the springtime is the best time to start planting those seeds and things for the coming year. And so I wanted to also talk about why this is important when we're talking about going into cycles. The physical realm, this is what, I come to understand if you take a look, because everything like matches, things that goes on in the spiritual and the natural. There's actually a Egyptian proverb that states that look at, it talks about the correspondence of the spiritual and the natural. And if you want to, how you want to look into that, you can actually find how everything is so closely connected. And so the earth realm is actually more like the subconscious side. Like if we're talking about the brain as, as a whole. And then you say, okay, let's say that the subconscious side of the mind or hemisphere of the mind um, is like the physical realm, and the spiritual realm is more of the conscious side, even though we're all consciousness, okay? And we know that the brain, left and right, all work together. But according to science, they have the percentage of how much of consciousness do we actually tap into. And it's actually about 5 to 10%, give or take. Then we mostly operate from the 90%, which is the subconsciousness. And so the subconscious mind is everything that we have instilled in us, the things, the patterns, the habits, things that, we've learned from birth. And it's also our basic instinct. Okay. And that's what we operate from. And then you have the consciousness side, which it seems like it's a lot less. If you kind of understand this a little bit more, if you've seen something, and I'm going to suggest this movie, it's called Lucy. Now, I know after people have watched the movie Lucy, they were like, oh, that's not right. We don't, use only 10% of the brain and this, and people was trying to do the fact checking and things like that or whatever. And they were saying the math wasn't math in and all that. That's not true. But actually, it wasn't like how much of the brain is used. It's like how much of consciousness is used and how much of the subconsciousness is being used, which is the fact of the matter. And in the movie Lucy, well, yeah, this would be you like, you don't tell the movie or something like that. I want to be surprised, but the movie is very old. So if you missed it, then, you need to go back and see it. But it kind of talks about like how she was able to move into 100% of her consciousness. And it was talking about the stages and levels of what would happen if we were to move out of, everything balancing out. Remember, I said you got the 90% and you got the 10%. Now, it was like, what if she moved from using like all of the subconscious into totally all of her consciousness, right? So at different stages, different things started to happen. At one stage, she started to, she became aware. And she was so, in tune around her, which some of that that empath in you, it heightens and you're able to discern energies and things like that, to a point it was something wrong with her own sister. And her sister was like, it's something, going on with her health. And she was able to discern, what was happening within her sister's health, and she was able to actually, the more that she moved into her conscious side, the more aware of the world she became, more than, she's ever been. She was like really tapped in. It got to a point where she was even tapped out of her emotions. It seems like she was just like, I wouldn't say dead. It was like her emotions were dead. It actually was, she wasn't really like in her feelings like that. And where she was in the beginning real emotional because, it was a lot of things happening to her and a lot of things that were going on. And so, she was really, emotional about everything. But as she moved more into her consciousness, she got out of her feelings, and then she just started getting in tune with everything around her. And as she got more in tune, she was able to, move through obstacles and things that were in her way, because she was trying to get this drug that was sewn into her. They was trying to traffic her and put drugs in her and traffic this expensive drug from place to place to place. And so she was trying to get it out because inherently she was like, okay, well, she said, I know if I keep this in, me, I could die, because this is like putting my mind on like speed. And she was just trying to get it out of her, and not only get it out of her, like they put it in other kind of people. And so she was trying to stop them from taking that drug, to other different places. So anywho, I'm going to spoil the end, because the end is very important. It's actually the key to what we're trying to do here on earth. We are physical matter. And as she goes throughout the movie, she actually starts to deteriorate more, and to the point where she became pure energy, and she just became consciousness. And that's where we are right now. We are on the physical level of consciousness, and how we materialize on this plane is due to, our vibration, our frequency, because depending on how fast or how slow a vibration or frequency is, it depends how a certain thing, becomes like a solid, liquid, or a gas state. So what we're here to do on this side is we are working out of our 90%. But if we were to attach, basically, I'm just telling you, we're attached to God, then he will ease up that workload. Why? Because consciousness has more power than the subconsciousness. The subconsciousness is very powerful, okay? But is not as powerful as actual the conscious mind. So we've been fed so much stuff already since birth. We've been fed so many things from the world that we take on what was fed, and we never choose to challenge it. And that's what the whole part of people like, I'm trying to break away from the matrix. You can't break out of the matrix. The only way to get, through the matrix is to go through the matrix. Okay. People think that being free is if I fit in with everybody, and if I'm in alignment with everybody and what everybody else is doing, then I'm fine. I'm okay. And that's not it. Actually, it talks about how, I'm not going to put, I don't like to bring hell into the situation, because I think the whole idea of hell itself is fear-based thinking. But it talks about the broad road is to hell or something like that, or whatever. The road is broad. And so, and if you look at the top things that are very broad and well known, those are very broad paths. But the real path is very narrow, and it says that not many people find it. And you know why many people don't find that path? Because the path is not external. It's not where you go out and you find the path. It's a path that's within, where everybody is scared to look, is within. And so I'm bouncing around, but there's a movie also called The Last Dragon. Love that movie. It's an 80s movie, and you will hear me. I'm going to drink something. Hear me talk about that more on this channel, because there's so much depth to that movie, and it's a super cute movie, and I love it, and it's very, very helpful. And so he went out like he was like some kind of kung fu, master, or he was the master at the time, but he wanted to continue his training in kung fu. And so after his sensei was done teaching him, he's like, I can't teach you no more. He stopped, like, I can't teach you no more, which is very important for you to know, because there comes a point where, yes, we do use the teachings and the things, that are presented to us. Those things are considered tools for your learning and your knowing, but we don't grow so attached that we begin to act like there isn't any more outside of that. Okay? Because we are ever evolving beings. Okay? And so he was like, well, I want to know, you told me if I get to the final level, you was like, I would have like this glow, and he was just like, that's right, when you reach the final level. And the thing is, he was like, well, I came this far, I want to reach the final level. And so basically the whole thing about his sensei was, there is a balance where you're going to be, taught. And then the other half is you're going to go in on that journey on the inside. And then that's when you're going to finally find the answer. Okay. And you're going, you're tapping into that internal well, of wisdom and information, that God source would be, instilling within you. And so he went out looking externally for the master, but he wound up in his journey, as he was looking out externally, he found out that the master that he seeked, when he finally found it, he was just like, well, that's not the master. And his obstacles that he was facing at the time helped to bring something out of him. And that's the thing. After his sensei stopped teaching him, he was now, everything that he had learned from that point from his sensei, he was actively putting that knowledge into, and it was becoming wisdom to him, because now he had to go through real life, and he was implementing all these things that his sensei had taught him. So you have to think about life like there's going to be a point, like, for instance, let's say you're learning something. There's going to, like, you go to school or something like that, and you go there for a while, or you're going to be like in like college forever. You know what I'm saying? No, it's going to be a point when you're going to break off from college and then actually start implementing some of the things that, you were taught, and actually, taking that information and using that in the world to actually help it work for you. And so what happened with him is he wound up turning, he got into a big fight, was about, because he was actually resisting the opposition, resisting, the fight, until he was ready. He decided to fight, not because he wanted to, because he had to. And so he went in the fight, and within the fight, he learned that the guy kept asking him. And if you didn't see the last video when I was talking about, this is the realm also of I am. And that's when people are like challenging the I am in you. And they're banking on you not knowing who you are. And so they challenge you. You are to combat that by affirming back to, just through your spiritual nature in your being, the power of I am. And so the guy was beating on him, and he was telling him, who's the master? Who's the master? And finally, he dipped him into the water. And I really want to break down this movie, because everything was so perfect. Everything has symbolism and meaning. And I just wanted to bring that to light because he was being dipped in the water. And we know that water is another thing for reflection. And so he was being dipped in the water. And every time he'll come up, he'll have a memory. He'll dip him again and he'll have a memory about that. And the more he dipped him, and more, meaning the more time he, introspection, went within. I know it was getting beat up and trying to have introspection at the same time. It's kind of cray-cray, right? But he was having it until the final time, I think, he had to remember the memory of the girl, and she was just like, well, you sure seem like a master to me. And he finally got up and he was just like, I am the master. Okay. And so you have to understand that source, I am, he works through you, and you together, you and God together are that duo, that power couple, that, anything becomes possible because you know that you're empowered and you know what powers you. And so he had to get out of, the subconscious mind. And that's what this side is about. It's all about the subconsciousness. Why? Because if you look around, there's cycles. You got the cycles of the moon and the sun. You have the cycles of the seasons. You have the cycles all around. That's the pattern of the subconscious mind. Everything is fixed and in motion. And the thing about the subconscious realm, a reason why people are trying to keep you conformed to something, they want you to stay in that pattern to keep the matrix going. And when somebody begins to step out of that pattern and those ways of thinking, ways of being, and actually connect to God and have the ability to hear from God. And that's another thing. There's a lot of people that think they're operating, out of discernment when they're really just operating out of fear-based thinking. It's all because of what's programmed in you. And the whole thing about being in the matrix is about reprogramming the subconsciousness for it to work, for your benefit and your good. And the whole point of these cycles and things like that is that you have to break these cycles of patterns and thoughts of certain thinking that aren't really for your highest good. I'll say it like that. Okay. The new year, we have to break the pattern of sowing seeds in the winter time. Doesn't mean that you can't sow your seeds, sow it, throw it, or whatever. But to be in alignment with what everything, the cosmic order and how everything is and how it's going. Remember, Mother Earth is more attached, to source than anything, and so she knows when it's time for, you to plant the seeds of, of goodness and, of all the things that you want to take care of and do. And, she knows when it's not really good time, to plant, those seeds. So it's just you just looking at that divine order. And if you want to choose to use it, you're like, well, I want to plant my seeds. Anytime I plant them in, it's going to take it. Okay. Okay. That's fine. God is always there. And, he's very attentive to you and whatever that you got going on. But for certain things, I just say amplify, the energetic experience of putting things through, So it's all about, just certain times that are better to plant than others. I guess I put that way. And be careful of where you are planting those seeds. And even though we're on the physical realm, we have physical seeds that we plant into others, just make sure that, you're not planting your seeds in dead places. You know what? Ooh, that can be also, for instance, like when males are hooking up with females and, and they're spewing their seeds all over the place. You have to be careful where, you can't, planting your seeds in dead places. And then you watch out like what things come from it. And you're messing with a female and that you're not going to plan on spending your life with. Now, you don't plant a seed in a place, and now the harvest that you reap is child support. You know what I'm saying? Now you're stuck with somebody that, you can't even get your kid when you want to, and all kinds of craziness. And seeds, because this is the realm of the subconscious mind. Seeds take easily. That's why, and Adam and Eve, when she was presented with, she was challenged with the question from, the snake about eating the fruit. The fruits have seeds in it, okay? And she represented the subconscious mind, and Adam represented the conscious side, of the mind. And guess where he was? He was somewhere asleep. So meaning that she wasn't fully connected to him. But when God told him, where were you? He was like, oh, it's that woman. He pointed the blame. It was that woman. God was like, no, this is because of you, because your consciousness was not present, to fact check what just entered, because she was the subconscious mind. Women by nature are receivers. And I talked about that, about Miles Monroe, and how he was like, we're incubators. What you give to us, we take and we multiply. Okay. And then we give it back, and so she received the information from that snake, and she came back, with some fruit and to give it to Adam to eat. And so because the conscious mind and the subconscious mind are together, they're supposed to work and interact with each other to actually improve each other. That's why God said, I gave the woman to you to be a helpmate. So God, as you are consciousness, you are pure consciousness. On this realm, the woman, Eve, is also has a connection to the earth. She's also the same as Mother Earth. Because when they fell, after she ate, they went down to what? To the physical realm. So Eve represents that physical realm. Why? Because Eve's name means the source of life. And what is also the source of life? Earth is the source of life. So this earthly experience was given to you as the conscious mind as a helper. To help you build knowledge, to help you as a spirit build, have wisdom. You get, some people just like, oh, you come down here and you live once. Yes, I once believed that when I was told that, but, I've more so, just had an inner knowing that I was eternal. And you're not going to get everything you need to know by skimming one lifetime. You're not. There's a lot of information that's going down here and a lot of things that you need to know to grow. A lot of people think they come past through here, they die, and that is it. And that is so far from the truth. Because God loves us so much, He's cultivating us. The garden is the mind. And it's about how you cultivate that garden. And when she was presented the subconscious mind with the idea, she easily took it in. Why? Because her conscious mind was not on guard. To do what? Ask the question. Should we do this? And should we do that? You know, he kind of went along with the flow because guess he wasn't present. And so, oh, well, that should be the woman to blame. That is the woman to blame. The thing is, instead of thinking of the situation as something to blame, what if God meant it to be part of the process? Maybe Earth experience is just only part of the development of, the spirit. So, we are taking it to mean something bad, and it's the woman's fault because we here in the first place, and now we all got to have this earth and spirit. No, God made the earth for a reason. It was for your experience, so that you can come here and you can use your physical experience to because that's what you are. You are a consciousness, a spirit inside a meat suit. And then once you drop this meat suit, whether you're a man or a woman, because of its nature to the earth is considered a feminine energy. This meat suit, no, that's why he calls y'all, down here brides, because y'all are the conscious mind married to the subconscious mind married to the conscious mind. That's why he starts out calling you brides. But then when you die, you go back, he call y'all all sons. Why he call y'all all sons? Because you don't dropped out of this meat suit, and now all you are is spirit. And in spirit, there is no male or female. It's just, you just all, you can say masculine energy or something like that or whatever. He made Adam in his image, and he pulled Eve. And they said that she was made from a rib, and from my perspective, I'm seeing so that he pulled Eve from an energy center out of Adam. And he said it was below like the rib. He said he took a rib, but it's in the area of the rib, which would be the solar plexus, or, lower than that, it's the sacral chakra. And so the solar plexus is like the area of personal willpower, which we know that women are very powerful. Because why? We are the one that carry the load. We the one that give birth. We the one that, labor. We go into labor and we multiply and deliver. And that's what we all are here, man and female. When you drop down here on earth and you get put in this meat suit, which is the feminine energy, this meat suit, we're down here to work and labor, but at the same time, come connect with the conscious mind, that 10% that they said that they use. We're here to actually amplify that and move in that to be less operating out of the subconscious less and operating out of consciousness more. And then as we do that, the distribution of the workload, becomes lighter because you're using more consciousness and you're not really just in so deep in the physical realm that you only rely on the physical, that you have a balance of the spiritual. The conscious mind, in as far as in the brain, how come, why you say you only use like 5-10% compared to the subconscious mind, we use to 90%. Actually, when you tap into the conscious mind, it's very, very powerful. If you think of a copper top battery, if you see a copper top battery, you see how the copper top has this much, but the rest of the negative part of the battery has this much, but it somehow still balances out and creates, power, because you don't need a lot, you don't need a lot of the positive to balance out with the negative. This is powerful. That's why this is a saying in the Bible that one could chase 1,000, but two can put 10,000 to flight. That's how powerful us spiritual beings are down here. And that's why you're just like, well, how is 144 supposed to have a powerful impact on the earth? Why? Because all of you together, especially when you're in pairs, y'all are a strong pair, y'all like power couples. And we're not saying you're actually just your whole frequency can overturn any negative frequency that's on this earth if we are all connected and united in our power. Okay? So what we're trying to do is even in it once was when the earth was down to like 7 billion people. There was a time, like, when was that? I'm gonna say this probably like 2013 when I had looked this information up, and I was kind of like doing the calculation, and I'm not getting all into the calculations and stuff like that because I was using that whole scripture when it talks about if one can chase 1,000, two can put 10,000 a flight. What I did was I took the 144 and I divided them into couples of two. And then I multiplied that by 10,000. And when you do that, and you get, it's like 710 million or whatever. Well, if you calculate that at the time when it was 7 billion people, that was like 10% of the earth. The magic number is 10%. Copper top bottle, the 10%, and then you got the 90%. You put it together, it can overturn. And so together, we only need 10%, about 10%, 15 now, probably 15, 20 now, because we're at 8 billion people on the earth. But just that amount of high frequency beings on the earth is enough to overturn whatever negative energies that are trying to, that have been held down the matrix for so long on this earth. And that's what we're here to do, is to challenge the matrix. Now, I'm saying some stuff people would never think that they would do because we've been too busy trying to go along to get along. But that's actually been a stupid thing because, they're not really trying to get along with us. They're only trying to make us think that they're getting along with us. Like they do what they try to do, to make us think that, like they're stringing us along. And we're like, yeah, we actually are coming together, because we are conforming everybody to, one type of religion, and that fixes everything. If you look at how the percentage of people in religion, today, especially here in America, they still haven't been able to overturn, the hearts of where we're going, especially, how, things are going with in the government and things like that. We're still fighting things today. It's because they don't really want to, work. That's the reason why they separated religion and government and stuff like that. They want to have power over you, but they don't want you to have no influence of any kind over them because they're going to do what they want to do. I talked about real quick, and I guess this is how it's going to end. I talked about how 2025 is the year of Jubilee. If you felt like you was a part, like you've been real steady on what God has been giving you and telling you to do, staying faithful. When evil things came up against you, you handled them in the most righteous way that you can handle as possible. And you were steady forgiving, and you were, giving mercy where mercy is due and things like that, without allowing yourself to be a doormat, for this world, because they savage out here and they will take advantage of you. We ain't trying to be nobody's doormat, but we try to be the peaceable beings that we are. And we understand where if somebody doesn't want peace and they don't want to come in harmony with you with anything, we understand. We understand that. We understand that's where you're at on your journey. We just gonna go ahead and pull back. Okay. So what you pull in is very important in the subconscious mind, as far as what, type of cycles you want to begin with yourself. If that's a cycle of being more thoughtful as far as in wealth and health and things like that, and we're talking about spiritually, but it happens in the spiritual and then it happens in the physical, and so those seeds that you plant, you just be mindful of where you plant them. Oh, I got off with the Jubilee. A year of Jubilee is a time for restoration for God's people. Everything that was stolen will be given back to you. Everything that was, and I hope all y'all get free from all y'all debts that y'all had or whatever. And, it's a year of restoration and a year of abundance and plentifulness to God's people. So, the seeds that you plant in this year, just be very mindful of them and water, your seeds with a lot of faith, and that, God will, what's yours is yours, and he's going to make sure that it gets to you. And this is supposed to be a very powerful year. I also posted one thing about the year of the snake. This is another thing that's important about seeds. I had posted a thing about year of the snake, and then my daughter had brought me something else about the year of the snake, and it was talking about how horrible it is and how it's going to be and how effed up, the year of the snake was going to be and all this stuff like that. This is the realm of the subconscious mind. You got to be careful what you let people bring to you, and so, we looked at previous years of the snake and they've been totally horrible. The same year something horrible that's happened to somebody else can be the same year where a blessing is happening to somebody else. Somebody got married in the year of that snake and thought it was a very pleasant, beautiful year. Just because something tragic, happened over there, you can't let that creep into your subconscious mind and ruin the things that you have hope for and the things that you have faith in. You got to be careful of where all these seeds, with Eve, all the seeds being the part, that subconscious part of the mind comes in and drops those negative things within you. And now you are, because somebody gave you a prediction about something, now you're expecting all those bad things to come upon you and happen on you. No, sir. You have the right to rebuke an energy and say, nah, that message is not for me. You can keep that. And to protect yourself and to protect your subconscious mind. And you can't take advice or you can't be open-minded about certain things or whatever. But remember, you're tending to your garden and what you want to cultivate your garden with, things that are going to empower your spirit. So there was a lot that I said. Thanks for stopping by and having coffee with me today. And I really enjoyed mine. Mine is kind of good. It is out, but it was really good. And so I hope it was a very enjoyable time. I hope that you found something informative in what I had to say. I'm just putting it, out there. It's definitely from the heart, and I hope it's helpful. And, ashe, and have a beautiful day. Thanks for stopping in. If you would like to contact me, email me at cafestimulate@outlook.com. Thanks again. Bye.